Hello, how are you doing? This is Dr. Wanita Mercer of Leave My Heart Coaching and Consulting. And y'all, it is Friday. Can you believe it? Like this week flew by. I'm just like, I need like 2 more days, two more weekdays, to get stuff done. But I'm just like, wow, the week has flown by, and I pray that you have had an incredible week. As I was praying for this live, God told me to tell you, you can do anything. You can do anything. You have the faith. You have measure of faith, and I want you to know that you have the faith to do it. You have the skills. You have the resources. You have all the resources you need because your Father has everything you need, right? You have the resources. You have the people. You may not have the people you want, but you have the people you need. They're there. They may not, again, be as many, but God can do a lot with a few, a lot, and so I just want you to know that you can do anything. So do it. Stop talking yourself out of it. Stop allowing fear to arrest you, right, in your journey and moving forward. You can do anything. So I just wanted to take a moment to encourage you. Y'all, this is 7 Feats After Complete. And again, for those of you who are joining me, maybe even for the first time, just want to let you know that this is a series that I'm doing, and I'm doing a series every month. That's the plan, to do a series every month. I'm talking about something that maybe you can apply not only in your organizations as executives and leaders, but definitely, even as a student or a parent or just someone who has things that God has given you to do, initiatives and things. Hey, Herbert from Ghana. Awesome. Thanks for joining in. It's great to see you, brother. And so, you know, I just want you to know that this is for everybody, to learn project management skills and leadership skills and communication skills and how do we change to effectively to meet our goals. So you know what I want you to do? I want you to like this video. I want you to share. I want you to tag people because other people need help too. Comment, react, let me know that you're here. Engage with me. Talk to me while you're here. So again, this is day 5, y'all. It has gone by so fast, but let me do just a short recap because this is again day 5 video. So you've already missed 4 if this is your first time joining in that you can find on my social media. But day 1, we talk about the importance of packaging the project after you're done because guess what? Everything that God has given you to do, that website, right, Herbert, that website, that branding, that program, that initiative, that book, that event, you still have to package it. Like, what does it look like? You know why? Because that product that you've done, that you created, is a gift to the world, and you need to make sure you package it. Day 2, we talked about deliver the project. How are you going to deliver it? Having the right time, doing it the right way, all of that, and making sure you understand the difference between delivering tangibles but executing the intangibles. And then day 3, we talked about communicating with the Rossi, right? And the Rossi is a crew, it's a posse. Ooh, the Rossi is a posse. I think that's cute. Maybe not. Okay, maybe a little corny, but the Rossi is having a communication plan throughout the project process, like all throughout, but especially also at the end here. Are those who are responsible, A, those who are accountable, C, those who are consulted, and those who are informed. So go check that out to learn more about that. And then day 4, we talked about how to document lessons learned because what? We want to keep doing what goes well and do less of what goes wrong, right? It sounds overly simplified, but it's true. And that's the whole importance of taking the time to document what we learned throughout the process. And so now today we're talking about how to evaluate the project because we have to do that, right? Now that it's done, we've delivered it, we've executed it. all of that. Now we have to evaluate it. So, you know how I like to start? Let's start with some words of wisdom. And First Thessalonians 5:21 says, examine everything carefully, hold fast to what is good. Oh, I do that too well. I examine everything, probably to a fault, right? Um, But it's true. We have to take a step back to examine everything carefully. Faith is not just doing things lax and let's just see what happens. Even the things what we do in God and with our faith, it is intelligent, it is intentional. I call it I squared, right? Intelligent and intentional. So we do that in order to keep doing what's working, what's good, what's efficient, what's relevant, what's effective, right? And then now Galatians 6:4 says, but each one must examine his own work. What? Wait a minute. Self-evaluate? Wait, don't you mean I need to examine someone else's work? Right? And as leaders too, we have to get in the habit of this. Not just being gun ho and evaluating and examining other people's work, our subordinates' work, our team members' work, but our work, what we're doing, how we're doing it, questioning even why we're doing it, right? And then it says, and then he will have reason for boasting in regard to himself alone and not in regard to another. Right? Meaning that you're not going to be taking credit for what other people doing, but you'll be self-accountable and know you did your part, right? That you contributed. And so that's important. So let's keep those words of wisdom in our hearts as we talk about evaluating the project. Okay. So I've broken this down into really 4 stages, and you'll see through project management instructions and things that it might look a little different. They might use different words, but again, my mission here is to take really technical terms and you know education regarding project management and bring it to you in a more palatable way, in a way that regardless of whether you're an executive or a student, right, that you can take these principles and apply them to your life, your work, your career, your family, right, your relationships, and so on. Okay, so let's look at these 4 stages of evaluation. Number 1, you got to plan. Yeah, you just don't jump right into it. You need to plan. Okay. Now, I do want to be mindful and say that evaluation, even though we're talking about it here at the end of your project, evaluation does actually happen throughout the entire project. So actually during the planning phase, the kickoff phase, you should have also start thinking about how will you evaluate this? How will you evaluate the end product? Okay, and so next month in our 8th month of August, talking about new beginnings because that's what the number 8 represents, we're going to go back to the beginning and talk about how to get started with a new project or initiative. Okay, so I'll talk more about that later, but I do want you to know that planning is a big part of that. How are you going to evaluate this? And it's important that you just think about at what phases of the project or program you will evaluate and what kind of data you want to be collecting throughout those different phases so that you can do a full evaluation. It could be qualitative data, those really enriched type feelings, talking to people one-on-one, documenting, recording experiences, observations, those types of things. It could be quantitative. Oh, I have that twice. Do I have that twice? Oh, I have to fix that. I will fix that before I share it on my social media. That should be qualitative, quantitative, or mixed. And I put qualitative twice. I will fix that. But you want to do quantitative data, collecting the numbers, giving out surveys, just getting more data that you can kind of quantify, put into models, so that you can, establish predictions and things like that. Or you could do a mix of both, right? But you do want to carefully plan at what phases you will evaluate so that you know what kind of data you want to collect. Okay. And then number 2, then we actually move to the implementation phase of evaluation, where you conduct both formative and summative evaluations. Now, if you're not familiar with those words, formative simply means during, okay? That you're evaluating learning as it's happened or evaluating the process as it's happening. I said learning because I started thinking about formative evaluations or examinations as a teacher, right? So we teachers know that, doing exit tickets at the end of class, or doing a short quiz or something where students can self-evaluate kind of where they are. Did they really grasp the principles that were taught today? That's a type of formative examination or evaluation. But when you're talking about summative, then it's like that root word sum, right? To provide a summary, an overview. So it has to be done when? At the end, right? Um, After the fact. And so both of those you want to conduct throughout the process, okay? And then I also encourage you to use the Poise evaluation method, okay? And then let me introduce this to you. So this is a Mercer Poise evaluation method. Mercer, who? Me. That Mercer. This Mercer. Um, and I think it's really important, when I look at the different things that you should process here. Actually, I'm sorry, the different things you should evaluate throughout the process. A lot of different models um, look at definitely process, definitely outcome impact, and that whole summative type review. But I wanted to add, where my heart is, right? This whole idea of excellence. And when you add that, then you have this acronym POISE. And I love the idea of what Poise suggests, because I really did want to establish an evaluation model that really does have demonstrate poise within the process, because sometimes we dread evaluating. We dread questioning what went right or what went wrong, right? We dread this idea that maybe that things didn't go as well as they could have because I didn't do all that I could, or someone else dropped the ball, or right. And so a lot of times we really don't do a good job of evaluating, or we only do it as a way to, just make a check off something, but not to actually put our heart into it. And at Lead My Heart, we're all about putting our heart into it. Okay. And so that's where the whole idea of poise come from, because when you look at the word poise, it means equilibrium, meaning to be well balanced intellectual and emotionally. It's elegance, there's balance, there's control, and there's grace. There's grace. We thank God for grace, right? And so we need to extend grace too, even when it comes to evaluation. So with the process, when you're looking at evaluating the process, that is a formative type of evaluation. So what does that mean again? Formative, that it's happening during. Yes, during, right? And so at this point, you're examining whether your systems, your metrics, your processes, your procedures, your policies, your infrastructure, your IT, and any other standardized activities or methods are for completing tasks are accurate, efficient, relevant, and foster the flow, right? That's the word I like to use because we get it. Did things flow? Right? We know if a stream, if things don't flow well, what happens? Bacteria begins to grow. In streams where there are obstructions, the life forms that are dependent on that stream are not getting all the oxygen stuff that they need. They begin to die, right? So things begin to happen. Things begin to break down if there is not a flow. And so that's what we want to make sure is there in our processes. So then we want to also evaluate outcome. Now this is a immediate um, summative. Okay. Oh wait, did I mix that up too? Dang. I was doing this at like 2 in the morning, y'all. Forgive me. I will correct this stuff. Outcome is not immediate summative, that is delayed summative. I think when I was putting the order in, I switched those up. So forgive me. Please extend grace as I evaluate my work here. Okay. Extend grace. So I will correct that. But when you're doing the outcome, okay, this happens like at least 6 months later. Now, depending on the project or the program, it might be a little bit sooner or you might have to wait. You have to use your best judgment here. But after 6 months, observe and analyze the effects of the project or program and determine whether the objectives have been achieved, right? So you need time to allow it to be used, to be worked out, to be utilized before you really know that. I, impact. The impact evaluation is where you review the project or program scope. Now, the scope, again, is what you put together at the beginning, right? To say, this is what we want to achieve with this project. Okay, so keep that in mind. And you want to examine whether the goals have been delivered or executed, right? With the intended audience and then determine the size of its initial effect. Okay. And so a lot of that will probably be using type of quantitative like data to really be able to measure the impact or effect of your program or project. Okay. And so that is the immediate summative. Again, immediate summative. Then you have S for summation. So, what does that mean? That like when everything is said and done, right? And it could be definitely this is delayed summative. I'm not going to say it can be, it is. It is delayed summative, where you consider the project or program as a whole and reflect on every phase, okay, of the initiative with hindsight. Okay. So think about this. What you evaluate throughout the process during your process evaluation and what you evaluate during the summative evaluation in hindsight will look very different. It will, right? Sometimes it's just like in our walk of faith, right? As we're going in the process, it's like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? What's going on? Right? But when we look in hindsight, we're like, oh wow, God, I see what you were doing. I see how that all came together, right? Thank you, Lord. Right? It's very different, right? And so, but it all matters, right? So it's like you're journaling what happened throughout the process, but then with hindsight, you're looking back and seeing, okay, do you have a different perspective now? Okay, and then E, like I said, I had to put it in there. Excellence. We have to evaluate our excellence, right? Because let me tell you, as heartpreneurs, as people and leaders that we're growing and becoming, right? With Lead My Heart, we have the mindset of excellence. Yes, we do. Not mediocrity. Okay. With God, what God has given us, with the resources, the skills, the time we have, we are going to operate in excellence. We have no other option. That's just who we are. That's what we do. Right. And so during this time, we're reflecting on our performance, right? And that's self-examination and personal accountability. So this is two part. We're first looking at ourselves. So this is an opportunity for people to self-evaluate, hold themselves accountable to their own performance as an individual team member. But then you bring it to the table, right? As the entire team. Did we really do the best work that we could have done? Okay. Um, One other thing I want to mention during the summative evaluation or your summation is you ask yourself, what part of this do we need to do again? Is it worth doing it again? Or like, was this so amazing that now we got to keep replicating this in different areas? So I want to make sure that you understand that it's balanced, right? is not just looking for what went wrong, but what went well, right? And making sure that we have the balance between positive and negatives, intellectual and emotional, okay, as well. Also, I would say like research based and also intuition as well, right? Just making sure that it's balanced so we can create that poise in the evaluation model. Okay, so then after you've done that, then the next stage is to report your findings. Analyze the findings of your evaluation and write a thorough report that includes the corrective actions that you will take. Right? Think about that. This just isn't lip service. Oh my gosh, that is one of my biggest pet peeves is talking something to death and then no action, no follow up. We can't be that way. Okay. We have to take corrective action for the things that we have found out. And then after that, then you move into stage 4, which is to present the evaluation. Well, to who? Present the findings of your report and of your evaluations to your stakeholders, the people who need to be informed, the Rossi. And don't forget that your clients and all those people, community people, could be a part of the Rossi, right? But as you're planning and how you're going to present this information to your stakeholders, be very um, tactful in how you do it, right? Because when you're evaluating, again, you want to stay well balanced, but you want to be tactful. You want to be shrewd. And shrewd is not a bad word, it means to truly be tactful and intentional in what you do. And so then I would suggest to you to use the 5 W's. Who, okay, is going to present to the stakeholder? What will they present to the stakeholder? When will they present to the stakeholder? And where will they present to the stakeholder, right? Like what method will be utilized? And then that last W, why, right, is to check all those other ones. Who will present? Why? Why did you choose that person? Okay. What will they present? Why did you choose that information? Are you sure that's all they need to know? Right? Or is that too much information? Right? What method will you use? Why will you use that method? Does it need to be online? Does it need to be in person? Is a written report okay? Right? And then also where? Well, where did you why did you choose that location, right? Why that place? When? Why that time? Is that the right timing? Are you sure? Right? So again, it's just to hold yourself accountable and making sure that you have put more thought into how you do it because the how is very important. The why you're doing it is important and it's going to really help to make it pristine. Okay? So, y'all, that's it. That's the content for today. What did you think? Let me know. Is this something that you will implement that will help you? Again, I apologize for I read over this, but maybe at 2 in the morning, like words are coming up that aren't there or something, which happens. So again, I apologize for that, but just know that when I share it on social media, it will be fully corrected. Okay. All right, y'all. So, oh, what did I do? What did I do there? Okay, there we go. So, y'all, again, let me know your thoughts and reactions to this. Just a few announcements. Yesterday I talked about lessons learned, and a lesson learned for sure is that I got a lot going on this weekend, but I want to be consistent, and I need to take a rest. Like I really do need to be well balanced in my approach to this. And so episodes 6 and 7 will be pre-recorded. Okay, so just know they will happen on the days they're supposed to happen. They just won't be live like this. They'll be pre-recorded. Then also, just a reminder to follow me at Leap My Heart 2022, especially on Instagram and LinkedIn, because on weekdays I share inspirational messages for professionals and provide leadership tips in alignment with the Word of God. And y'all, let me tell you, it is so powerful. And I just want to remind you what God said: your weekdays will no longer be your week days. He is doing a workplace revival and he wants you to be a part of it. So will you join? Will you join the workplace revival? Right now that these inspirational messages do have themes. We're doing depending on God in the workplace for we did it this week, we'll do it next week, and then we'll kick off August with conflict management. Okay. um, and really looking at the word of God and what principles we can extract and leadership tips to help us in the workplace. Just a reminder, I am ready to come and help you, partner with you on reaching your goals. Okay. Let's talk leadership, change, communication, service. I'm here for it. I can come out as a motivational speaker, facilitator of workshops or seminars. I'm also available for interviews and podcasts. All you need to do is go and complete my booking request form at leadmyheart.com/book. Okay. And I'll look it over, see if I'm a great fit for what you need, and we'll have a conversation and set it up. Okay. And then let's talk about episode 6 and 7. So, right, tomorrow we'll be talking about how soliciting feedback from the Rossi, why we should do it, how we should do it, and then episode 7 will cover following up on the feedback. So, y'all, that's it for today. I love y'all. I pray that you have an incredible weekend. Get rest, take Sabbath, rest in the comfort of the Holy Spirit. Be rejuvenated and refreshed, okay? So that you can continue to be strengthened to do the work that God has called you to do to make an impact in this world and to be on fire as delivering and producing all the great things that you're gifting the world. Okay. So, you all, again, I'm Dr. Wanita Mercer from Lead My Heart. And remember, in everything you do and with everything you have, love God and love people. Goodbye.